The beginning of the 20th century in Kansas City was a time to push boundaries and break rules. As women became a more integral part in Kansas City's working population, they required entrance to saloons and bars to access food, clean water, and sometimes even employment.
I think Prohibition was the single largest actor in changing drinking from being homosocial, as I say when I want my students to feel uncomfortable, to something that was mixed gender. And in the 1920s, I think generally speaking, you still wouldn't have unescorted women certainly not going into a speakeasy, I think. But it was a significant change that they were going in at all.
And this is a new space that's really never existed before. Society has abruptly shifted from one kind of normal space in which drinking and social hierarchy desires are played out in a wholly different way. And you know, what's going to happen in this new space? Clearly something different than what was happening before.
The suffragists and prohibitionists, they certainly fought for something and succeeded, but it doesn't end up the way they expect, needless to say. You have a new generation that views a certain sense of lawlessness as part of enjoyment. And certainly that group includes women. Young women who now think that, look, as long as I'm already off the radar, I can dance, I can drink, I can cuss, I can smoke, I can act exactly as I wish to act, and if you will, act exactly as the men are acting.
Even after the 18th Amendment was passed in 1919, virtually nothing changed in Kansas City, Missouri. The booze was flowing and men and women were enjoying it together. After nearly 40 years of competing prohibition and anti-prohibition campaigns and widespread political corruption in Kansas and Missouri, Kansas City had become one of the wettest cities in the country.
When Westbrook Pegler compared Kansas City to Paris, he, not for our broad boulevards and fountains, but for the laissez-faire kind of attitude, the carelessness of the inhabitants that said, this is the way things are.
This carefree attitude acted as an incubator for all kinds of pervasive venues. The infamous West Bottoms, a veritable labyrinth of saloons, speakeasies, bawdy houses, and dance clubs, ran from the industrial riverfront to downtown Kansas City, Missouri.
12th Street stretched a mile east of downtown. It was lined by dance joints, bars, gambling houses, and yeah, women would go in there and drink with the men. In some of the clubs, like the Reno Club, was a black and tan club where African Americans and whites mixed freely. You know, there was no discrimination when it came to who could get a drink in Kansas City.